show for you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the top of the order queue there. You aren't going to believe...
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Turn around to your right. I don't want to go into the sun, but I got one.
Freedom! Keep your ear to the ground. Talking about the freedom! It's the best show on
What is up, guys and girls? How the blooming devil are ya? Yes, it's Friday. It's Friday night. And so that means one thing and one thing only. It's Friday Night Live, baby. How was your week? How did it treat you? Was it wonky? Was it as wonky as the week beforehand? Or was it exceptionally awesome? I hope it was exceptionally awesome, because let me tell you this. It was for me. And so therefore, I hope it was just as awesome, if not even more awesome, for all you lovely people out there watching this. Wow. Yes, it's been an awesome week and I am buzzing from it. And let's just say this show is only just going to provide even more of a buzz. So as always, I will start the show by saying I've got the comments in the corner and I can see you all chatting in the live chats. So first of all, thank you so much that everybody's taken their time out on this evening, afternoon or morning, wherever it is that you are in the world, to tune into the show. We appreciate the hell out of you doing that. And most of all, we love it when you get in the live chats. So yeah, get in there. I will try my very best, as I always say, to keep a bit of an eye out of the corner of my head, which I'm not very good at doing at the best of times. And read out as many comments and things as I can. But as I always say, at the end of the show, I go back through all of the comment sections and just have a little chuckle to myself, because that's kind of what I do. Because I know that as much as there is plenty of love in that live chat, man, you know when that news segment comes, the abuse comes with it. It's all from a loving place and it does crack me up. So I know it's all in good jest. I did actually manage to pull up some comments from last week, and I'm going to see if I can actually deliver these and not mess it up. Now this one, from the one and only, the legendary Mr. Dan Koff, was just epic for the fact that his youngest is saying, like, are we going to get Grom on the big TV? I'm like, dude, I didn't realise that the Friday Night Live show was family friendly. I do try to keep it that way. And dude, watching in front of them with the whole fam, that's a vibe. So I appreciate the hell out of that. And then after last week's news story about the zombie deer, I missed it. I missed the joke myself, and yet I missed Rich's comment. Zombie reindeer, or well, just general deer. Oh dear. Yeah, boom, boom. We love it. And yeah, as always, get in there, blow up the live chats, give us all the little symbols and emojis. And obviously, I hate saying it, but please don't forget to like the video before you check out this evening, because that machine, the algorithm, the U of tubes, likes it when you do it. And I do as well. So yeah, don't get it twisted. I love it, but I don't like asking for it. But yet again, it's what drives the channel up the chain of madness. But never mind. Anyway, yes, it's Friday. Do you have a beverage poured? I'm already halfway through one of my mugs of coffee. And I'm going to do the shameless plug tonight. And tonight's unofficial sponsor, we're claiming, is Roastworks Coffee Co. Maybe if you can see that. So we've moved on from the CBD. I cannot comment on the Cheerful Buddha coffee. Don't get me wrong, amazing coffee, flavour, awesome, and hey man, I'd drink plenty more of it. But when it comes down to the CBD, I'm still a little bit more of a fan of, if you're going to do it, I think you need to get kind of a high percentage oil. I don't know, maybe it was just me. I was still up till stupid o'clock last Friday. I had to do the show and then continue on with a vlog edit. So I stayed awake and got through it. But nevertheless, this week, this Roastworks coffee is up there. When I opened the bag, it smelled like dark chocolate. And yeah, it tastes good. So I hope you've got a beverage, whether it's a cold one, whether it's a hot one, wherever you may be. I hope you're chilling out, tuned in, and ready to tune out of the week that was. Yeah, way better than the week previous. So that is definitely a positive. And do you know what? Maybe, and I don't want to say it too soon, maybe there was a little bit of maturity happen in my life this week. If you are yet to see the vlogs from the week, I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a happening, or maybe even an incident, you could call it that possibly, where I stepped back. I evaluated the situation. I didn't let my emotions or my anger rule my reaction. Yeah, it's amazing. If you haven't seen it, yeah, beware, be prepared to brace. That's all I'm going to say. Because never did I ever think that I would be capable of that. I suppose better late than never. At least in my 40th year, I have figured that out. So, hey, we're getting there, right? I suppose, as I say, better late than never. And any progression is good progression in my books. So, as always, you know it is. The madness truly is real. And I've already seen that the live chat is blowing up. So, as I say, I'm going to try to do my best. It's awesome to see some regular faces. Chris Avery, thanks for tuning in. Dan Kov, legend. Awesome to see the one and only, the legendary Uncle Billy, all the way from Hawaii. So when you've got some dude in Hawaii tuning into the show, you know it, you're winning, dude. Like in my books, I've already won. So yeah, obviously the one and only Mr. Cockney Buddha. Lovely to see you here. I hope you're having an awesome Friday. And yeah, I know that you guys are just going to blow the chat up. So that's always a winner. If you haven't already sensed, I'm a little bit excited, as I always do about this time. You know what the score is. And I'm going to start this one a little bit sort of sooner, because we got some news to cover this week. And it'd be rude if I don't get it done before the hour mark, like those pros do on those mainstream channels. Yeah. And I have my paperwork this week. Check it out. So, first things first. They were all the rage in the Star Wars movies. I could have this, maybe they are not. But, you know, they're big in the movies, and they were most definitely big in 80s and 90s cartoons. But the UK's MOD has tested their very first weaponized laser. So, yeah, the laser weapon is successfully high-powered power firing. During a trial at the MOD's Hebridge range, maybe, the Dragonfire. Now, if ever you're an 80s cartoon watcher, Dragonfire laser, direct energy weapon, or LDEW system, achieved the UK's first high-powered firing of a laser weapon against aerial targets. I'm really not making this up. And yes, it happened. The range of the Dragonfire is classified, but it is a line of sight weapon and can engage with any visible target. This milestone demonstrated the ability to engage aerial targets at relevant ranges and is a major step in bringing this technology into service. Both the Army and the Royal Navy are considering using this technology as part of their future air defense capabilities. So look, man, I'd have been really happy with like hoverboards, like proper hoverboards, not like what they sell. and maybe some other cool stuff that we all were predicted we were going to get in the future. Weaponized lasers, cool, but anyway, staying in that kind of frame of tech. If you haven't heard about it, the mad genius, as some may call him, Mr. Elon Musk, finally this week delivered Neuralink to a human. Now, again, I leave all of this stuff for you to go and fact check, as I do not want to be a spreader of disinformation or whatever, but this is what the internet's saying. And I was always led to believe that his first, or the outset of this, was going to be helping people that have lost damage in nerves in their spine, so that you could put the chip at the top, they could communicate, and they could do some repairs. And I want to say, I think a company in possibly, I think it was Switzerland or somewhere, actually beat him to this, in the fact that they have got, let's say, a chip at least in a human. He was disabled and they've got him walking again. So that's pretty crazy. However, Mr. Elon Musk has gone for the Neuralink setup, shall we say, and basically the first humans received it, and a lot of people are terrified due to the fact could this be the first cyborg? So the brain chip has been implanted in a human despite major concerns with how the experiment affected monkeys. Elon Musk has divided fans after announcing this controversial Neuralink brain chip has been implanted in a human. The Neuralink tech aims to enable somebody to control their phone or other device with their mind, according to Musk. That's where I'm just a bit like, that kind of contradicts what he started off saying about this, but I don't know. Initial tests are completed on macaques, type of primate, i.e. a monkey, basically, with one test having the animal used its mind via wireless connection to operate a joystick. The first human implant received an implant from the Neuralink yesterday, and I think this is a few days back anyway, and is recovering well, Musk wrote on Monday on X, formerly known as Twitter. So yes, the madness truly is real, and we will be connected into the Matrix very soon. Existence, the movie, or Existence, always picks up in my head. The Tesla boss followed with huge news explaining how the technology works. He said that the first Neuralink product is called telepathy. Man, you know it. You wouldn't love it if I didn't trip over a couple of words. This enables the control of your phone or computer and through almost any device just by thinking, he wrote. If that's not scary, I do not know what is. But staying on the subject of monkeys, and particularly the Japanese macaque monkey, managed to escape last week from a zoo or wildlife park, whatever you want to call it, in Yorkshire, and decided to go on a little bit of a social for a few days. He went out and about. The cheeky monkey had spent 5 days on the run in the Scottish Highlands, and basically he'd become quite a social media fan. So loads of people were capturing him roaming around in the garden. At one point there was even a drone set up to try to track his whereabouts, because obviously loads of people were seeing him turning up, and according to some reports, they were saying that this dude has consumed so many peanuts in the last couple of days from bird feeders and so what. So he's living his best life. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, that zookeepers did actually catch up with him, and they caught him on, I want to say yesterday. He escaped on the 28th of January. So he'd done a few days out, but he's now back and he's nice and safe, and he's been returned to the wildlife park. Nevertheless, he was out there doing his thing, living his best life for a little while, wasn't he? And we've all seen, well, if you've ever seen the Monty Python movie, The Meaning of Life, you will all be familiar with this gentleman, Mr. Creosote. And this is a Friday Night Live public service announcement in the form of basically one dude ate too much kebab and phoned for an ambulance for the Welsh ambulance service after receiving calls on subjects as inappropriate as missing false teeth A hand stuck in a letterbox. The Welsh Ambulance Service is appealing to the public to only call 999 for paramedics to come urgently if someone's seriously injured or is ill. A person called for an ambulance after eating too much kebab. Yeah. Further 999 calls were made in Wales because somebody had misplaced their false teeth. The service had, and this is crazy, dude, 414,149 calls last year, and of those, 68,416 were not a life or death emergency. Just the fact of how many calls they were taking is insane. On average, they're taking 188 calls a day, which has prompted the trust to remind people only to dial 999 if ill or seriously injured. So, I know lots of us, well, many of us, I think, feel like we don't want to be a burden on the services. And I know that there's a lot of people that have probably had some gnarly, especially if you live in the UK, some gnarly is it 111? You've probably had some bad experiences, but hey, it's one of those things. Don't phone them up if you've eaten too much food and you just feel like a bit Christmas dinner-fied, you know? It's not good, man. And if you've lost your false teeth, just keep on looking. You'll find them. But that was this week's news.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are now tuned in to Friday Night Live with the Grom.
Well, you know the trouble's really starting when I'm so excited that I can't even pronounce telepathy. But I did say this to a friend of mine only today, and that was, I think it was the week before last. I done a really clean show. Like, you know when you see these guys sign off on like a soap or something and they're like, that's a wrap, and everybody's stoked because it's really clean, tidy, and the job has been well done. I managed to do that a couple of weeks back, whenever, and I was super chuffed, super excited. I was like, I didn't miss any cues. I hit all of the spots that I wanted. We delivered the news without fumbling words and just looking like a complete moron. And I got a dislike. I'm still shocked about that. So I know that you love it when I don the mad glasses and basically struggle to read, maybe at a 3-year-old's reading age. But, you know, man, I will improve in time. That's what I keep telling myself. Anyway, without further ado, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. All I'm going to say is the guest that we have tonight is... I will use the term legend because I still even think that is an understatement. I know that there's going to be a lot of viewers from all over the world watching this, and they probably might not be familiar with who this gentleman is. However, I'm going to introduce you to him and him to you, and hopefully you will see the awesomeness that is the one and only, the Mr. Legendary, Greg Blackman. Greg, how the blooming hell are you?
No pressure.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Dude, so I'll give like the viewers at home, right, our research team, and if you watch the end credits, you'll see that the research team is me. So I will take 110 lashings if I've done an awful job with this. But I think I'm right in saying that you are basically a singer-songwriter, a voice actor, a narrator. You are an artist, an album artist, and also a vocal coach.
Yeah, I don't do as much vocal coaching anymore, but yeah, those other ones, I definitely do that, yeah.
What other talents do you have?
I can't whistle.
Okay, that makes me feel better about myself.
Does that help?
Man, that is the best thing that I've seen all week, dude. Because
Does that
if
compensate?
I'm brutally honest, when I started digging. Now, I tried to pin down the first time that I'd come across any of your work. Now, I'm torn between whether it was your rendition of Let's Stay Together.
Okay.
Whether it was the track you done with DJ Vadim.
Okay.
Or whether it was the track that you done Guys Like Me. Or Change. I'm not too sure.
So that you're talking like 15 years ago now. That's
we don't like to say time, because time gives indication of just how mad it really is. But yeah, it's a
Well,
while.
the channel name is technically a decade out of date now. So it's like we're in a timeless space.
Yeah, dude, we're
It's
just
good.
here. It's a brand.
Yeah, we're just here. We're just out here right now. That's all.
But dude, so when I started looking and I started just looking, and I haven't got a piece of paper long enough to fit your back catalogue on.
Okay.
Dude, so I tried to pin it down, and it was just one of those things where I had to share a little bit to some friends of mine, because the one thing that I'm dying to ask you is, where did it all start, dude?
Do you mean doing music professionally?
Well, were your parents musical? Where did that lane start? How far back, and where did it get to the point where you were like, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, I was part of a generation. I'm like 48. I was born in 1976, so I grew up in like Thatcher's Britain. So we were told as kids that anything creative was just not a job. You just couldn't. It was just the common understanding was you couldn't earn money at it. And then obviously, you'd do what anyone else does. You'd walk past 100 billboards, which were made by an illustrator who was paid to do it, and listen to 100 commercials that night with someone who sings on it who was paid to sing on it. And you're like, there's just no money being made anywhere. Creative. It was just this weird thing that we had. So I can remember being music. I mean, music's in my blood, man. I don't remember any time pre-music. My mum will tell you a story of where I'm a little baby. I'm like pre-verbal, tiny little newborn, and I'm in my pram, and my mum's playing music, and I'm rocking in time to the music, right? And one song would stop, and the pram would stop, and then the new song would start in a different rhythm, and I'd start going to that rhythm instead of the slower song.
Because
So
I was going to introduce you as the guy that has more soul than Shao Tsung out of Mortal Kombat. That was going to be my claim.
That's because I snatch it from lesser soul singers.
Dude, because again, and this is to the viewers watching this evening, I will, after the show, put as many links as physically possible to this gentleman, because, dude, I hate to say it, your voice pains me because it's so bloody good.
No, it's very sweet of you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Dude, and it's one of those things where, again, from way back when, and listening to it and just being like, and you also play instruments as well. You're not just like a pretty face, dude. You know, you
you
come out and because I think it is.
Yeah, no, my new project is completely produced and performed and arranged by me as well. Yeah, that the new thing. Because the thing is, when you
recall to everybody that this gentleman is amazing, but he can't whistle. I just need to make myself feel a little bit.
So when you can sing and when you get known as a singer and when you collaborate as much as I do, because I love collaborating. Obviously, one of the great things about being a singer in the internet age is that you can I've worked with people from all over the planet. Yeah. The majority of whom I've never met in person. That's the funny thing. Like, for example, I did an album called Lo-Fi Classics with a guy called Mr. Bird. And then I think about 10 years later, we actually met in person. We crossed each paths and was like, oh my God, it's you. You know, nice. It's the majority of relations like that. But then you get known as a nice voice guy. And if you have a big voice, people assume that you don't do anything else, right? You're a singer. So I thought, yeah, it was time to, play all the instruments and do all the stuff and produce for a bit myself. And yeah. And really show my hand, really come with all everything I can do, all my strengths, show everyone what I can do. Yeah.
And if my memory or my noteboard serves me correct, that's called This Year Units of Content. It's units of content. And that is like this year's 2024. Mm-hmm. This is your whole project. So again, dude, shameless plug, get in there. Tell us all about it.
Oh, all right, cool. So in 2024, I'm going to release a new single every month, right? And again, it's all written, performed, produced by me. There's actually this is quite rare, there's only one sample used in the whole year as well. but it's a really good one. So I'm releasing them all digitally. It comes out on the 21st of every month. I dropped the first one on the 21st of January because it was my birthday. So we've just dropped that.
Happy
Song called
birthday,
Soul
dude.
Shit. The next song is Play the Game, and that comes out on the 21st of February. So, and we usually keep dropping on 21st, 21st, 21st. And again, it's a chance to show my skills as a musician as well, where I'm really big. It's full on one man band. Like all the songs are just made right here on this laptop. And the only person that touches them other than me is the mastering guy. And then while we're doing that, I'm kind of assembling an album because I've spoken to some of my colleagues and they've said it. Albums like are nice for people that want physical, but these days, like if you're working in the digital streaming world, which a lot of us are, sadly, then yeah, it's all about singles. It's all about keeping the new material coming, keeping new stuff on everyone, and I'm really excited about it. This is I've probably been known mostly as being the guy whose voice can express pain, if you like. I kind of ended up in that pocket somehow,
Yeah, but even when you do that, there's this just.
Oh, it's not a complaint.
Richness about it, dude.
I'll take the money, I'll do that too. But this year, really, I wanted to do some stuff that reflects my personal growth towards joy and towards happiness and positivity and good things, and not in a sort of a facile sort of good vibes only kind of thing. The kind of joy that comes after a lot of pain, the kind of joy that comes because you have to earn it. Right? Yeah, dude. The kind of good times that come because you paid your dues in the bad times. That kind of joy, like the real soulful spiritual joy that comes from the deep earth of your character. And so, this year is all about that. And you know what's so funny? It's like I didn't write for like 2.5 years. I did some fiddle and collab projects, but just, my son was born and I just, everything stopped. And I just wasn't really interested. And then 3 months ago, I got played on the radio a lot, right? Because I had the great fortune to sing with some people whose careers are much better than mine, which is a secret, by the way, folks. Collab with people who are neurotypical and can get things done and be awake before 2 p.m. and, network successfully and stuff like that. So then I got to hear my song on the radio, which meant for the first time in years, I listened to the radio a lot. And I was sitting there going, there is not a lot of effort being put in here. I don't disrespect to any of the other artists, but I was listening to it and I was like, no one's putting their fucking soul on the line. I'm not hearing people really go for it. So I'm like, why am I feeling like I have to absolutely swing for the fences every single time in order to even earn the right to sing? Why don't I just lay back, kick into second gear? If people want vibes, they can have vibes, man. Let's do some vibes. And that, it's like it pulled a plug, and suddenly all this creativity just started coming out. And I had like 36 song ideas done in about 2 weeks. It was ridiculous, and they're still coming.
Yeah,
they're still going.
The tap was turned back on.
Yeah, fully. And I'm like, I gotta get. I'm literally there going, catch this shit quick, pass me something else.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, it's still going. So all of the music that we're doing this year, I say like I'm doing a new single every month this year. I don't mean I'm writing them. I mean they're done.
Yeah,
they're finished. They're mastered. I don't have to write anything else for 2024. I'm now deciding what I'm going to do in 2025. So units of content, fresh music every month. While we're doing it, I'm going to crowdfund a physical album, and at the end, I'm going to drop all of these songs as an album anyway. With some extra stuff and a bunch of B-sides and things like that.
Because,
so
am I right? My brain might have slipped me one, but because didn't you release a vinyl on Bandcamp?
With Ramrock Records, I did, yeah, we did, yeah.
Because again, so I sort of fell off music just generally in like 2013. Again, a bit like you were saying, dude. Sometimes in life you just get to that point where the happiness is drained. The world's against you. Nothing you do is or anything you do, you're going to get shut down. You're just in that mindset. And that's where I
The
was.
well has run dry and the rain won't come.
And that wasn't just even in music. That was like across the board. I went through a real heavy depression state, and I'd been working there, but I didn't realize or know what it was. And then hit that wall of that year, and I was kind of like, dude, American Pie, like the day the music died, that was it for me. I was like, I'm done. I'm done trying to do this, and sort of reevaluated a lot of stuff. And it's funny that you say about how you kind of, when you hit those good times and you open that tap up and it comes for the sake of you doing it because of the love of it. And I've been quite fortunate. Just recently I've had that. But for me, the vinyl thing happened, and I picked up one of those vinyls, but it's just gone, because I haven't got turntables and stuff set up anymore. It's just gone into the collection. You know, it's just slivered away. And so it's a beautiful
that's why
thing.
we make it.
You
That's
also,
why we put it on Spotify as well. You know.
Say that again, bud. Say that again.
I was going to say that's why it's on Spotify as well. You know, just in case.
Yeah, but you know that vinyl thing.
This is why I'm going to have to crowdfund an album, because everyone's doing this. They're like, but I'm like, yeah, but that's expensive. But
Yeah, dude. But then I also see you're doing. I see your first post for this year for a gig.
Yeah.
And what's this?
Yeah,
This
I don't
isn't
play
like
out live very
Somerset.
much. So, yeah, Shindig, mate. It's 10 years of Shindig. 10 years of Shindig Festival. And I love the people that run Shindig very much. I love Will and Jess, and I love all of that crew. They're really top human beings. I've collaborated with Will as well. Midnight Life. You've seen me do a song with a band called Midnight Life. That's Will, who runs Shindig. And
right,
MC.
okay.
So yeah, so I've done a song with them, and I first played Shindig probably one of the first ones. I think it was like its second year. And so when I heard it was 10 years, I don't gig live much, but I had to come back. I was like, I'm not just going to dip in and dip out. I'm there for the whole weekend. I'm watching everyone's sets. I'm bringing the family. I'm dancing. Like, this is the summer holiday, basically, that we're doing. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely playing that. Shindig and yes, I believe it is down in Somerset this year.
Yeah.
They've just dropped their lineup and their address as well. So yeah, Shindig Festival. Go and have a look. It's they actually got mentioned by the people who run Glastonbury. The lady who puts on Glastonbury, she was like, "Look, if you go and get to last year, seriously, they went, if you're going to get to Glastonbury, this is the best small festival in the UK." And obviously, then loads of people turned up. And yeah, I love it. I love Shindig a lot. I'm really looking forward to playing there. I'm playing all the new stuff for the first time as well, so it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, okay. Because I can't remember. See, as a presenter, I should have scribbled down the date. I want to say, is it like the 22nd of June or something?
I don't know. Everyone knows how Google works. Open a new tab, Shindig Festival. You know how.
We'll be there. We'll just be there, dude.
I have to be there. Definitely going to be there.
Now, here's something that I went digging for this afternoon, and maybe my information serves me wrong. But it might be my brain more than anything.
Okay.
Did you or did you not do a cover of Blister in the Sun?
Once upon a time, yes. Yes, I did do and it was available on streaming for a time.
Because, dude, I went looking. My brain was like, I know it's out there. Do you think I could find it? I was gutted, dude. That was possible. I'm saying that's the best version of that track I've ever heard, dude, because it just smashed it.
Long story short, I had a long period of time where I was writing with a writing partner, and that basically, long story short, it went tits up. So I decided that anything that I'd done with that writing partner I was just going to take it offline and have like literally just full on cut ties, walk away. If any of those tunes,
have you got any ideas or plans? Because obviously, if you've got material just oozing out into the bowl in front of you, have you got any plans of doing any mad little out there covers for the future?
do you know what? I thought about it, and I did try it on a couple of times. At that time I was very. By the way, I will send you that just between you and me, so that you've got a copy of it for your records, because it's no longer available. Like, and
okay.
there's like whole albums that just got taken offline.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I'll make sure you have a copy of it. Don't worry about it.
Dude, you're a legend.
And I'll send you. I've got one of War Pigs as well that I know you've never heard, which I know you'll like.
Yeah,
by
okay.
Black Sabbath. But,
because the other thing sorry, I've just chop in there. Yeah, no, go on, continue. Have you got ideas for some covers?
There's always stuff I want to do, but back then I was trying to do covers which would almost like obnoxiously different from the original. Like you know how Blister in the Sun was very like, it's a song that's famous for being a stripped back punky acoustic song. So I was like layers of synths and Sesame Street vocals, right? Which is just not what you do. Now I think if I do covers, I want to do them in a very sincere way, and I want to do them as tributes to the original. I've tried to do a couple of covers lately, and I'm having to completely reassess the way I approach them. So yeah, there's always stuff I want to do. But I don't want to do them as like. I think Blister in the Sun was the last one that the last cover I would try and do where it's very like it hits people in the face and makes them go, what the fuck? I think from now on I would try and just do very sincere, nice, heartfelt stuff. You know?
Yeah, because again, dude, like the Let's Stay Together is one of those ones where you're like picking that out and doing that, you're punching with heavy weights, dude.
Well, if you can't, in the end of the day, like if you're going to be a soul singer, if you can't put your voice up against the best, don't like. Why? What are you doing?
Yeah, dude. And you absolutely owned it.
That's not coming from a place of ego either, right? That's not. So I'm the best. I'm sitting in a kitchen in Essex. Al Green is not. That's not the point. The point is that if you're going to step to it, make sure that you're stepping to it to a level where if someone tomorrow says to you, come and step up with the greats, you're ready.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter on what level you do it. If you take your craft that seriously, you don't have to take yourself seriously at all. But if you take the craft that seriously, then you should you like, you know, that if someone says to me like that's as good as that is comparable. I won't say as good because that's highly subjective, and you know Al Green is a giant and I'm way down here. But if someone says that's comparable and it has a similar kind of energy or whatever, or when, as has happened to me a bunch of times, like Black American soul musicians of that generation say something nice to me or validate me, or say like, wow, I felt like I was back home.
Yeah.
I don't go like, oh really? I go like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I should be shooting for. That's the level I should be going for. Otherwise, like, why bother? If you're not gonna be in the best at what you do, like, why bother at all?
Yeah, why pick the bat up and swing in the first place, dude?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you have to understand, like, I worked on these gifts, but I didn't earn them. Right, music is genuinely, like, truly, it's a blessing that was just fucking put on me when I was a kid. I did nothing to earn this. This talent was just here, motherfucker. Here. Never have to work at Tesco, right? And it saved my life. Like, so the older I get, the more I think of it as something to be honoured and taken very seriously.
Yeah. But again, that Al Green cover, man, you took that and made it your own. So again, it's
one take, by the way.
Say that again.
One take, by the way.
Just to remind ladies and gentlemen, viewers at home, he cannot whistle though. So he wasn't blessed. He is blessed, but he wasn't fully blessed. Just because otherwise, Dude, and again, it's one of these things, and that's where I was going to go with the have you got any other ideas for covers? And it just sparked the thought. Dude, the other thing that yet again is something that you tend to smash out of the park, and that's artwork, dude.
Mm.
And
Yeah, I mean, AI art has killed a lot of illustrators' businesses these last couple of years.
yeah,
I'll tell you
dude.
that for a fact.
But we've kind of sometimes touched on it in messages because, again, I see the posts that you put out on Greg Blackman Art, I want to say, on Instagram. And I explain, where did that start, dude?
What, the just being an illustrator?
Yeah. How did, because, like, don't get me wrong. I think, good few weeks ago now, we had a gentleman on as a guest, goes by the name of Bus166, who was like he's been a graffiti writer since the early 90s. Now he kind of owns his own store out in Vegas, and he's just an absolute legend. And again, it's one of those things where you're like, we've all been in that bit. Well, not all, but I think majority of creatives, if you're creative, you kind of give everything a try.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you find if you've got God-given talent where you could literally blow your nose and it's musical, then you know where you're going to be humble and happy at home. You might pick up the arts, you might not just good old-fashioned paint, and you might be a little bit behind, but if it gives you that same tingle, you'll pursue it. Like, I'd done a little bit of art, a bit of scribbling, a little bit of graffiti as a kid, not up on big walls or anything, but, on the maths book. But, again, was that something that you just sort of early doors was like, I love drawing, that is my passion? Were you...
That was before the music. That came long before the music, that did. Yeah, that's just as a result of being a lonely kid, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was not a very social child. I was quite a difficult kid, and I didn't get on very well with like other kids. I didn't socialize very well, so I would spend the time where other kids would spend out playing, I would spend alone with pen and paper. And then ultimately you learn to socialize, but you still have those skills, right? It's like singing is just a talent thing that was just plopped on me, whereas I don't have like a natural talent when it comes to artwork. I've just practiced loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. I've done my 10,000 hours, and I'm still constantly like looking at other people's work. The biggest difference between being an illustrator in 2024 and being a singer in 2024 is I'm constantly looking through Instagram at other people's art and going, oh my God, you're so fucking great. How could I ever even how could I ever be like 1/10 as good as you? You look at another one, oh my God, you're mate, how do you do it? And when I look at the music, like I'm like, wanker, talentless wanker. That's rubbish. That's shit. It's the exact opposite. So I have to do illustrations sometimes just to remind myself that I'm not a horrible person. I do music all the time. I'd just be angry.
Dude, what is it they say? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Comparison is a thief of joy. Yes, absolutely. I'm terrible for that. I'm terrible for that.
I think art is one of those ones though, because again, I know I do it when, especially if I'm looking at graph culture. I'm not massive into it. I've never been like, I was a hip hop head. So you have respect for all of the elements.
Sure.
You give it a shot. I was happy with vinyl and turntables. Never really ventured into the b-boy or the graph world. But I just have to stand and admire it. And we're not talking like, phallic drawings on the outside of a wall with one can. We're talking like big pieces and stuff. Sometimes even now, I just sit there and I'm like, how do you even start to like see that? And that's one thing that when I look at a lot of your artwork, I'm like, it's not like you're just copying some stuff. I've known a lot of people in my day where, man, it was almost like maybe a photographic-y kind of their head was just like a photocopier. They could get a print, and that print might be like that size, and now just put that to like A2, just boom. Whereas your stuff, you're more than happy to be given an idea, a concept, or whatever, and dude, you just run with it. How does?
Well, that's your skill of being an illustrator commercially. That's the difference between doing it for fun and doing it for cash. Because all of a sudden you have to you're not drawing what you want anymore. You're drawing what they want, to their specifications. So yeah, that's actually very, very good for an artist, is to do some work for other people and to work towards achieving other people's goals, drawing things for other people. Because first of all,
almost a brief kind of thing.
Exactly working to a brief. And because I mean, a lot of the time, if you draw by yourself for yourself, you just end up drawing the thing you like over and over again. Whereas you become that guy who's amazing at drawing a superhero, and then someone says, "Okay, cool, draw that superhero," and you're like, "No problem." They go, "Standing next to a tree." And you're like, "Oh, a tree? Oh, damn! I've never drawn no tree." Right? So you don't have an all-rounders palette of skills. Whereas if someone comes to you to draw one thing, someone comes to you to draw another, eventually, you'll broaden your palette of skills. Yeah. But I mean, where does it actually come from? Who knows? I would say to anyone, it does. Drawing is good for your brain, whether you are good enough to charge money for it or not. And that's a very important thing to remember. The good stuff that drawing does for your head, like neurocognitive states, wonderful for you, really, really good for you, drawing.
No, it really is. And I know that there'll be a few people in the live chat that would thoroughly agree, and also go one step further and say that you'd be surprised of there's levels of therapy that would use painting and just expressing yourself.
Without doubt. Yeah. And that is, I always encourage people to do it. I used to do the same when I was a vocal coach. I used to say the same thing to people. I was like, singing is good for you as long as when you hear your own voice, you don't go, "Oh, God." Like, if you can rattle out a tune, do so, right? It's not about it being good enough to put it on Instagram, or it being good enough to charge money for it. Those things are lovely because it means you get to be a reprehensible old fart and avoid work your whole life. But they're not necessary for you to get the good stuff out of it, right? The stuff about singing that's really good for you, you don't need to be good enough to charge for that. The stuff about drawing that's really, really good for you, and that's really good for your heart and your soul and your mind, doesn't matter if you're good or not. It doesn't matter. Just do it anyway. I strongly encourage everyone, go and pick up a pen and just doodle some shit tonight. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. Your brain will start going, is it good? It's not good? Doesn't matter.
And I
good
think
for you.
There's a really interesting thought off the back of that springs to mind, and that is, and I think it definitely for me, I was more than happy to dance and express. As you think as kids, man, you don't care how you dance. And the same as if you're singing, you don't care how you sing. Same with art, you just don't care about the possible, how other people are perceiving it or their opinions on it. You just do it for the love of doing it. And
at a certain age, art of any kind seems to become about the audience and not about the person doing it. And the people who can hold on to that sense of play, like recently, you talked about getting back to the source of it. And recently, when I've been writing, I have been in exactly the same space, spiritually, mentally, as that 15-year-old kid that used to sit there for hours with his headphones on playing stuff. I'm right back there, and it's that good for me. Yeah,
dude.
And it's that sense. It is. I'm just playing. I'm having fun. And I really think that's where people do their best work, where they're not in any way concerned about an end result. And it's so hard, right? Because you tell people that, and then they go on Instagram, they're like, "But he's got 12,000 likes. How do I get 12,000 likes and get validations?" If you start thinking that way, you're you're fucked from the start, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know. It's,
Well, I had a good friend of mine, and somebody you've, I think, had some contact with throughout the years. A gentleman that goes by the name of Suspense MC.
of course, yeah.
Yeah. And he told me many, many moons ago that, dude, if you start trying to make tracks for how the audience are thinking, you put it down, you know?
Yeah.
If you're making it from that, like, that bit, that childlike state where you're like, exactly what you just said, dude, that happy place, headphones on, don't even care, and just make and create and enjoy. There's this, I don't know, there's just this magic that happens.
Yeah. There is a sweet spot, really, which is where you get to the point where you're doing it, you're able to charge money for it, right? Which is where, and it doesn't happen often, right? It's more the case, and I've sung a lot of stuff for like that isn't my art, right? I've sung and performed on a lot of stuff that isn't me expressing myself. You'll hear my voice on Coca-Cola commercials, Uber, Peugeot, like IKEA, right, all kinds of stuff, as well as like hundreds and hundreds of radio commercials over the years, right? That stuff doesn't feed myself, but it feeds my bank balance. Then there's stuff which you do just for your soul, but which you know you're never going to make any money off of, and 10 people are going to hear. It's fine. That's good for you, right? Good for your heart. But there is a sweet spot you occasionally get where those two paths, there's little points where they meet, right?
The magic.
And that, again, once you get one of those, it's a lot easier to get two of those. And once you've got two of those, it's a lot easier to get three, right? There's a critical mass thing that starts happening, right? I just bluffed my way into a music career by saying, one day I just decided that all these people who were asking me to sing on songs were going to have to send me 100 quid. I was like, all right, from now on it's 100 quid. And half the people went, what, 100 quid? Oh my God, no. And the other half of the people went, here's 100 quid. So all of a sudden, all those people that didn't want to pay 100 quid, I didn't have to make time for them anymore, right? And then like a couple of years later, I just decided it was 200 quid now. And half the people went, whoa, oh my God, no. And then the other people went, all right, here's 200 quid. So suddenly, half of those 100 quid motherfuckers, I didn't need them anymore. And you just bluff. You do that for long enough, then eventually you've worked with a couple of big names, right? And then you do that shit for like 10, 15, 20 years. All of a sudden, you've kind of just elbowed your way into an actual career at some point. And suddenly you can look and you can say like, right, well, I started out with I've no management, I've no representation, no, schmoozy industry mates, no major label contacts, no money behind me. And, I'm also old and average looking and a bit fat. And my political views are, the kind of thing that would keep me out of the Grammys. Right. And still, like last year, one of my songs got put in the British Library. What more can you ask for, dude? Something like that. One of my collaborators, Loki, is playing a crucial role in the Palestine thing right now. That's what.
And this was something that I was going to get into. But dude, what I'm going to do quick is I'm just going to have a little quick break. I'm just going to roll like an intro. So, dude, if you need to do anything. And for the viewers, don't go away. We will be back right after this message. Hold that thought, dude.
Gentlemen, we've got a fine show for you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the top of the autocue there. You aren't going to believe.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
After turn around to your right. I don't want to go into the sun, but
Fuck it in here.
Legend. So, that's a first on the Friday Night Live, dude. Seriously, this is a pre-warning to anybody in the world. This roasted coffee is gnarly. Goes through you like a racehorse. So,
Oh my god.
that's how real we get on here, dude. And I like the fact that literally, to come back to you and you just been having a smoke, I'm like, that's one thing that unfortunately, even though I'm a home owner now, in the 21st century, a home owner, but unfortunately, because my
Sorry,
other half
kids.
don't smoke, I'm not allowed to smoke indoors.
I'll try and keep it family friendly. Sorry,
Well,
guys.
dude, more to the point of if that was the case, I'd be sat here with a pipe. That is the level that I want to get to in life, where I have like an old sort of Sherlock Holmes and Watson kind of pipe.
No, you don't. No. And I'll tell you why, because I had one for years. They actually have a weird little thing that attaches the bowl bit to the neck bit. And if you want to smoke any kind of weed in it, weed is very tarry, right? If you look at the inside of any
Clogs
kind of
up.
pipe that's been used for any amount of time, that's black, right? So that little device gets clogged with tar in 4.5 seconds and you will never get any smoke through it. They're great for a day and then they're
Dude,
fucked.
More so, I just want, because we were having this conversation. Obviously, I remember a day where I could smoke at work. I was fortunate, you know,
Yeah.
smoke cigarettes in the building at work. And I was like, I just remember how annoying it was back then when you did work with like a pipe smoker and they just knock it out anywhere and everywhere. And I'm like,
I'll never do that.
dude, I want to be that guy. But time's gone by, man. You ain't going to be doing that in the workplace. The other
Well,
thought was smoking cigarettes on an aeroplane.
Oh yeah, shit, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. I'm old enough to remember. Like, can you even conceive right now of sparking up a cigarette in a fucking aeroplane with children just running around? Hey, small child, here's some cancer. I wouldn't even think about it now.
The thought
So
of picking
low.
up like duty free off the truck and
Yeah.
just being like, boff, open, smoke.
But then all of this stuff is going to go the way of the past now. One day it's here and it's normal, and then you go and you fart and you go to bed, you wake up again, and it's the
Yeah, dude.
fucking past.
Well,
And you're like,
obviously,
what?
I don't know if you, because I commented it on the vlog because it shocked me that this week, obviously they announced that they're planning to ban vapes, or more so the way they kind of worded it was to ban vapes for underage people. And I'm like,
Well, good.
surely
Fuck's
that's
sake.
in place
Good.
anyway, you know, kind of thing. If
Yeah,
there's an age
but-
limit, then underage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And,
but there's things that they turn a blind eye to, and there's things that they can actually prosecute. They could be like, okay, if we catch you selling vapes to a 12-year-old, you're going to pay the fine, which I'm
Yeah.
guessing at the moment a lot of people aren't.
And I was a bit shocked because, again, obviously I do the Friday night news on air, and I wanted it to be somewhat factual, but a little bit away from mainstream, because obviously mainstream news is kind of, I don't know. It doesn't make me feel happy, shall we say.
It's not
And,
designed to make you feel happy.
You know, I know it's not meant to. I know it's supposed to be real and news-like, but when they spent, I think, like 15 minutes telling me about how they're going to ban vapes, and then spent like 2 minutes telling me about the farmers' strikes, I'm like, yeah. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, okay, so you're banning vapes. And then before I know it, somebody mentioned me that, again, I think it's as of this year, if you're not 16, you're never allowed to buy cigarettes at all. But I listened to a
They're going to do it
podcast.
anyway.
Say that again?
They're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, dude.
They're going to do what the fuck they want to do.
But like you were just saying, I listened to a podcast only, I listened to it yesterday, but finished it today. And it was regarding I can't think of the term now, almost like a journalist that went in with the troops on D-Day. And they're discussing there how every soldier was given a carton of cigarettes before they done the raid. You know, and you're like, it's kind of that thing. And I think there was adverts back in the day where, like, you know, cigarettes were good.
Mate, do you know that the suicide pilots in Nagasaki were like high as fuck on barbiturates? Like seriously fucking high. They used to give these, here, you're going to go and commit suicide for glory. Here, take this. Those guys were seriously fucking wired. I'm telling you. Like, there's an interesting book about the. I wish I could think of the title of it now, but it's like the history of drug use throughout, you know, basically like ancient times and modern times, and it's like this weird alternate thing that we just all do, but we just agree not to talk about. Very, very interesting. But yes, they used to give them cigarettes. They used to give them that and plenty more,
good,
I'm sure.
But it's changed, so it makes me wonder, like, again, especially like with that news story about Elon Musk implanting neurolinks in humans now. It's like, at the minute, it's a good thing. Yeah.
The thing is about Elon Musk's not doing anything. Like, Elon Musk doesn't make anything. He doesn't design anything. He's got all of his money from his dad, who's a South African diamond mine owner. Okay. So all of Elon Musk's money is dug out of the ground by little black babies. Feel about that how you will. He doesn't actually design or create anything. What he tends to do is he tends to buy companies where people are designing things, fuck it up, and then leave, like he's done to Tesla, like he's done to Twitter, right? So if we say like Elon Musk is doing this, what that means is that someone much smarter than Elon Musk has been paid by Elon Musk to say, when you do this, I own it, right? And if it works, I take fucking credit. So I mean, has Neuralink? I mean, eventually we're going to have some kind of wetware software interface. Eventually, right? If you want Ghost in the Shell, right? If we want Existence, like I'm not saying I'm ready for like weird jelly-containing spinal things to be going in and out of my. But remember that bit from Existence where she's got that weird plug in the back of her neck where they put the internet in, and he goes, but it's just like an open hole into your head. Doesn't it get infected? She looks at him, she goes, bro, I already have open holes in my head. Like,
exactly.
Just another one. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, I'm so glad that you've seen Existence, because again,
I love Existence. Superb.
Obviously, everybody, because I want to say that I think that predates The Matrix. I think it's a couple of years before, maybe. My brain might.
That even predates Johnny Mnemonic, I think, or Lawnmower. But Lawnmower Man predates them both. If you're gonna go back to it. Yeah.
Okay. But again, it's one of those movies. Once I'd seen that, it was just like at the time. And again, you know, we're a few years off of where we're at now, should we say?
This is it. People are always going to be icky about any kind of surgery, any kind of implanted surgery stuff. But like, if you go back 50 years ago, the same amount of ickiness that people feel now about having a little microchip stuck in somewhere, they felt about face tattoos and piercings. It's completely fucking unacceptable, completely outside the power. You were a freak if you had that shit. Now, like, you're not a pop star if you don't.
Yeah.
Right. So the first kids generation that are like, I don't give a fuck, quick surgery, microchipping, and I don't give a fuck, mate. The first generation that come along like that, they're just gonna be like, yeah, fuck it. And then you're gonna see like actual man-machine interface. At the moment, we're still like, oh no, like, it's just no surgery. Don't put the unnatural thing in me. You know what I mean?
Dude, I struggle as it is, because a bit like we were saying about comparison on social media, just the general, the freedom and the beauty of it is something that's out of this world. And it is the fact that we are speaking together now and that this is being broadcast to all corners of the globe. I love it. I think like sort of sat in the 90s as a kid dreaming up things. Never would I ever have thought I could have put out a broadcast from my own house. Yeah?
No. And like, if you think every single music opportunity I've got, without exception, has come to me via the internet. Yeah. And when I was born, there was no fucking internet. Like, I keep telling my kids that. I'm like, you know, I remember before there was internet, and they're like, what, before there was like high-speed dial-up? And I'm like, no. They're like, you mean before there was wireless? I mean, before there was internet, they didn't exist yet. And they're like, what? You know, the amount of change we've seen in our lifetime is absolutely astonishing.
Yeah.
Suddenly there's this magic, weird network that everyone's on that people could just turn on and go, hello, would you like some cash for singing a song? I'm like, really? my little 6-year-old self is still like, you know.
Dude, and this is what I'm saying, like, I love that. That's and it's the same. I own a drone for getting footage, and
Yep.
to think that it is literally a spaceship that I can fit in my pocket, in my mind,
Yeah.
I am like,
Yeah.
what? However, the downsides of that are obviously, like so many things, the dichotomy of life. It's like that in the wrong hands or used in the wrong intentions is like, oh. And I struggle and have a constant battle with social media. The one where it's like, it's there, it's a free tool, and you need to use it if you want to promote anything at the minute. And then there's the other bit that I go on there to promote stuff, and within about 3 minutes, I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
I'm having to actually properly promote some new music for the first time, and it does feel repetitive. You feel guilty for pushing your own stuff. You end up feeling guilty for pushing your own stuff, and you're like, well, that's why we're here. I don't feel guilty for publishing, you know, the 90th comment about, you know, my laundry or whatever. I don't feel guilty about that. But when I turn up to do what we're actually all there to do, which is to put up our little storefront and tell everyone about ourselves, suddenly I'm agonizing about it. You know,
yeah, because again, and even now I struggle with it so bad, because it's like, I don't like saying, oh, hey guys and girls, if you haven't liked this video already, please go and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell.
You have to.
It just makes me feel like, but
it's a prop though. It reminds people to do it.
Yeah, and it's that the algorithm, dude. It is, and YouTube, that's what it wants to see. That's what you've got to feed the machine, and then the machine kind of maybe gives you a little bit of help in return, and you're like, okay,
you know, you've got to play the game.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with it right now. I spent a long time raging against the machine and feeling all annoyed about, you know, why should I have? Well, you know what? At the end of the day, if Taylor Swift has to have a TikTok, I have to have a fucking TikTok. That's just the way it is. You know, you can complain about it all you want, but the game is the game is the game is the game, and it don't care about me. The game doesn't care about my feelings.
And it'll keep on rolling as well, won't it?
Yeah, you just got to keep going. And you know what? It's very, very, repetition is a lot more important than we think. Repetition. The one time I've had real success with a music project was when I would like schedule a different tweet. I wasn't just repeating the same thing. It was when I would schedule a tweet every 2 hours for like weeks. And that suddenly people were like, oh yeah, I've heard about your new thing. And I'm like, is that what it takes? And it is. It is. You have to repeat and repeat and repeat, and you feel awful doing it. But you know, if you've got, you know, 2,000 followers on Facebook, every time you post, you are going to get to a maximum of 200 unless you pay. So you just got to post 20 times to even stand a chance. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never thought about that actually, because again, it's been mentioned many times where they say, I think, like, your views on YouTube should reflect or be around, should we say, about 10% of your overall subs.
Sure.
And then where you're saying that, where you're like, yeah, if you've got, I don't know, like, even if you said 1,000 and it's only going to be getting to 200 people, you're like, yeah, man, I need to keep pumping that post out.
Because they have deliberately designed it to choke it unless you pay to promote. Yeah, that's the moment the platforms became monetized, they effectively ceased to work. Like they when a platform monetizes itself, it admits, okay, the free mode doesn't work. It's pay to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Because this
and
is
the music
definitely
industry is already a very pay to win environment. It's already very penetrated by people who can afford to chuck 20 grand at marketing and not really think much about it. Whereas someone like me, I mean, that's devastate my life
Yeah.
to try and find that cash. So yeah, it does make it a little bit more skewed, a little bit more unfair.
Yeah,
But,
because I
God
really
bless.
did. Last year, I took a big break from social media, from the big boys, Instagram, backed away from Twitter. And it was bizarre because, yeah, I sort of came back to Twitter just recently and it was like, what happened? And it just seems like...
Elon happened. That's what fucking happened.
But it's so bizarre because it was like, don't get me wrong, I don't have a huge following. I don't post very regularly, even when I was on it quite regularly. But
Sure. So.
the kind of coverage or the reach, whatever you want to call it, has
Yeah,
just
yeah, the reach.
been from being like a small amount to like, no. Computer says
Yeah.
no, dude.
Yeah, because they got a premium model to flog now, and there's no point if the free model works. Why would you buy the premium model? So the moment someone introduces any kind of premium model, they are admitting to you that the free one is about to get seriously disabled by them.
Yeah, dude.
Like your views are
Sucks.
choked deliberately, and these are the only means we have. You've only got your little market still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. But I think like, and again, it kind of goes back to you were saying about like going with joy and going with like happiness and just being stoked for what you've got. And I think that's where I'm at now. I'm like, just being able to do this, and especially with yourself or with everybody that's watching now, take those kind of little grains of just goodness and be like, hey man, how awesome is this? And fortunately at the minute to do this on YouTube, it doesn't cost a penny. So it's pretty awesome. But dude,
No, indeed.
I'm going to wrap this one up. It's been awesome. And you've been a fantastic guest. I really hope that we can do this again, dude.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And it'd be nice. Like, I am going to put all of your links in the description below. So you'll have to feed me a load of them and I'll just feed it into the machine, dude. If you want to stay around, I'll sign off and then we'll have a little chin wag. As long if you've got to go.
No.
Cool.
I'll reload this.
You reload that. I'll say goodnight to these lovely people. But dude, it's been a pleasure having you, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, lovely people. Also from me, big up all of yourselves, and please, I'll make sure that all my socials are there. Come and follow me. Come and say hello. Always glad to see you, and have a lovely night, everyone.
Legend. That was the legendary Greg Blackman, and I will be sure to share all of his links and link trees and band camps and artwork pages and Twitter feeds. I'll fire everything in the description below. Unfortunately, my battery on the camera is screaming at me. Otherwise, I would have probably chewed his ear off for the rest of the night. I hope you guys and girls really enjoyed that interview. I know I did. He's an awesome guy. Lovely to talk to, and yeah, I'm hoping we'll have him back. But I hope you're in a good place mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, emotionally, and all of the other Elise. I hope you enjoyed the Friday Night Live. As always, thank you very much for taking the time out of your evenings, wherever it is you are in the world, for watching. Thanks to everybody blowing up the hearts and just getting into the live chats. I'm really sorry I didn't pay too much attention. I was sidetracked by the awesome guest that was the wonderful Mr. Greg Blackman. On that note, stay safe, stay focused, stay positive, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you the same time, same place, 10:45 p.m. next Friday for a Friday Night Live. Have an awesome weekend.